next experiment, experiment number 7. Now the name of experiment is vapor compression refrigeration. Now the aim of experiment, you determine the relative COP, the coefficient of performance relative COP for a vapor compression refrigeration system. So in refrigeration system, there are the four main components. One is a compressor, next one is condenser, expansion valve, and the evaporator. Now you start from the compressor. The refrigerant, so the working medium in refrigeration is called the refrigerant. So the name of the refrigerant in our lab, we are using the Freon 12, that is a R12. So the refrigerant exit from the evaporator, it's having the high temperature and it's having low pressure. Now it is isentropic compression. So in isentropic compression, so the refrigerant, it is compressing from low pressure to the high pressure. So after compressing, so the refrigerant exit from the compressor, it's having the high temperature and the high pressure. So the high pressure and the high temperature of the refrigerant, it passes through the condenser. So in condenser, the refrigerant having the high temperature and cold air or cold water. So the cold water actually just like when there is one tube, through the tube the refrigerant it flows inside the tube and over the tube the cold air it flows. Once what happened, the high temperature refrigerant, it gives the energy to the cold air and the air it absorbs the heat from the refrigerant at a what process? At a constant pressure process, the heat is rejected from the refrigerant. So when the heat is rejected, the pressure will be maximum and its temperature of the refrigerant, it decreases in the condenser. So after exit from the condenser, so it's having the high pressure and it's having the low, when comparing to here T1, the temperature will be less. So it enters into the expansion valve. In expansion valve, it's also called the constant enthalpy process. It is called the throttling process. In throttling process, the enthalpy will be remain same. H3 equals to H4. So in throttling process what happened, there is a pressure decreases and there is a temperature decreases, and T4 is the lowest temperature in the refrigerant. And what about the pressure? The pressure also is decreasing from maximum pressure to the minimum pressure. So the low pressure and the low temperature of the refrigerant enters into the evaporator. So in evaporator what happened? Inside the evaporator, it's having the higher temperature. When the cold refrigerant, when it passes, it absorbs the heat at what process? At a constant pressure process. At a constant pressure process, it absorbs the heat. That means the heat is added to the refrigerant. When the heat is added to the refrigerant, its temperature increases and the pressure will be remains same. Now COP equals to what? That is a coefficient of performance of the refrigeration equals to COP equals to net refrigeration effect. Net refrigeration effect by work input to the compressor. Net refrigeration effect means what? How much amount of the heat is removed. How much amount of the heat is removed in the evaporator. It is called the net refrigeration effect. And what is the work input to the compressor? What is the work input to the compressor? You know the work input to the compressor and you know the net refrigeration effect. You calculate the COP of the refrigeration system. Now when you do the calculation part, we need the that is a pH chart. So pH chart, so they represent the y-axis pressure and the x-axis is the enthalpy. Now we have the two lines in the pH chart. This line represents the this thick line represent the saturated liquid line, and this line represent the saturated vapor line. But we may assumption that the refrigerant, it enters into the compressor. Either it may be wet state or dry state or the super saturated state. But we are assumption that the refrigerant, it enters into the compressor. So the refrigerant, it enters into the compressor is a dry saturated state. You take the point 1 on the dry saturated state. Now the process 1-2 is what? 1-2 is the isentropic compression. It is a reversible adiabatic process. So in a reversible adiabatic process, entropy will be remains the same. Now from point 1, you draw the inclined line, point 2, up to what? Up to the maximum pressure. Now from point 1, you consider the refrigerant enters into the compressor is a dry saturated state. Then you know the point 2, it is the maximum pressure where it intersects. So 1 and 2 is the isentropic process, and entropy will be remains same. Then 2, after compression, so the high temperature, the high pressure of the refrigerant, it passes through the condenser. In a condenser, constant pressure process, but the heat is rejected from the refrigerant to the water or the air. So its temperature is decreasing from T2 to T3 at a constant pressure process. Then 3 and 4, it is a throttling process. So in throttling process, so the enthalpy will be remains same. Then you got the point 4. Then the refrigerant, this is the lowest temperature in the cycle. So the low temperature and the low pressure of the refrigerant, it passes through the evaporator. In evaporator, the refrigerant, it absorbs the heat and it gains and its temperature increases. So from pH chart, from point 1, so you know the pressures, you know the inlet pressure and you know the outlet pressure. So you mark the inlet pressure is the saturated, dry saturated state, point 1, and you know the maximum pressure, you draw the horizontal line. Now you mark the point 1, 2, 3, 4. Now from point 1, you draw the perpendicular line, it intersects the x-axis, you got H1. And similarly from point 4, you draw the perpendicular line, right? You draw the perpendicular line for the x-axis, you got the H4. And you observe the figure, H3 equals to H4. And from point 2, you draw the perpendicular line, you got the H2. Now from pH chart, you find out what? You find out H1, H2, H3 and H4. Now you calculate theoretical COP. So what the formula for theoretical COP? Net refrigeration effect by the work input to the compressor. Now you observe the figure, what is the refrigeration effect? Where it occurs? In the evaporator. That is a H1 minus H4, H1 minus H4. And work input to the compressor is what? H2 minus H1. Now you know all the enthalpies, you calculate what? You calculate the theoretical COP. Now you substitute the enthalpies and you calculate the theoretical COP. Next step, you calculate for the actual COP. For actual COP, now the procedure here, you take the container, inside first initially you weight the container and you take the mass of water and once again you measure the container with the liquid. So the difference of what? With water and without water, you got what? You got the mass of the water. Suppose if the initially the temperature of water is at room temperature, suppose its temperature is 30 degrees. Now you cool the water from 30 degrees to 30 degrees to suppose minus 5 degrees. Initial temperature of water is 30 degrees and you cool the water up to minus 5 degrees. Now to cool the water from 30 degrees to minus 5 degrees, you are removing the heat from the water. Now, how much amount of the heat we are removed? Now, you know the formula: mass of water, specific heat of water, and the temperature difference. Now, you write heat extracted. Heat extracted equals mass of water. You know that. And initially, now directly it is not cooling from 30 to minus 5 degrees. Now, first, when you want to decrease from 30 to minus 5, now you extract the heat from 0 degrees to 30 degrees to 0 degrees, then 0 to minus 5 degrees. Now, to remove the heat from 30 to 0 degrees, mass of water, specific heat of water, initial temperature of water minus 0 degrees. Then, after it reaches to the 0 degrees, when you further remove the heat, so temperature will be remain same. It changes the phase from the liquid phase to the solid phase of ice. Now you are removing its latent heat. Now LW is called latent heat of the water, and that value will be constant. Next, now once the water is completely converted into the solid state, now the temperature will be remain same. If we decrease further from temperature from 0 to minus 5 degrees, the mass of water ice will be remain same. Mass of water ice will be remain same, and specific heat of ice and 0 temperature minus 5 degrees, that is minus 5 degrees, minus plus 5 degrees. Now you calculate what? You calculate the total heat extracted. So you know the total heat extracted, and you have the work input to the compressor. Directly you can measure in the when you do the experiment, directly you got the work input to the compressor. So actual COP equals to what? Heat extracted from this formula by work input to the compressor. Directly you got the power input to the compressor. So once you know the actual COP, and based on this formula you know the theoretical COP, then you calculate relative COP. Relative COP equals actual COP by the theoretical COP. Now you go. So there are the 4 main components in a refrigeration system. So what are the 4 main components? Now one is, this is called the evaporator or the refrigerator or the freezer. Next, this one is called the black one. It is called the condenser, and here it is called the air cooled condenser. So one is a evaporator, refrigerator or the freezer, and this is the air cooled condenser. Next one. Now here we have the 2 type of the systems. One is called the expansion valve, another one is the capillary tube. Now this is the capillary tube, and this is the expansion valve. So expansion valve, right? Freezer or the evaporator, condenser, and compressor, right? So one is and here this black one is the compressor, and here you have the tubes, right? This tubes is called the condenser, compressor, freezer or the evaporator, and the expansion valve or the capillary tube. So generally they may ask, what the difference between the capillary tube and the expansion valve? So in expansion valve, we can control the flow rate of the refrigerant, but in a capillary tube, so the flow rate will be remain same. We can vary the flow rate by using the expansion valve. So you have the 2 options here. Either you can prefer the expansion valve or the capillary tube. Now the first procedure is, now you switch on, right? You switch on the main power supply, then you switch on the compressor, then next you switch on the console, you switch on the console, and you switch on the compressor, right? You switch on the compressor, you switch on the compressor. Next, you take this is the container. Initially you measure the weight of the container. Then initially this is the container. you measure the initial weight of the container. Next, you take the water, right? You take the water and once again you measure the mass of water with the container. So once you know the mass of water with container, without that difference, it gives the mass of the water. You know the mass of the water, and initially you take the thermometer and you measure the temperature of the water. This is the initial temperature of the water, and you keep inside the freezer and you close it. And now you suppose initially the temperature of water is 30 degrees. Initially the temperature of water is 30 degrees. Now you observe you have the two options. You do the experiment, either it is a expansion valve or the capillary tube. Now this is the knob, you change the position of the knob. If you put in this direction, it now the refrigerant, it passes through the expansion valve. Suppose if you change the position, now the refrigerant, it passes through the capillary tube. Now next you check the temperatures here. Now initially the T1, T2, T3, T4 and the T5. So T1 represent the compressor inlet. So the compressor inlet is nothing but what? The evaporator exit. Next one, T2 is what? The compressor outlet. Compressor outlet is nothing but the condenser inlet. And third one is the compressor outlet. That is nothing but throttle inlet. And T4 is the temperature of the refrigerant after expansion. And this is T5 is the inside the freezer. Now initially the temperature of water is 30 degrees. And no need to go for the minus degrees, minus 5 degrees or minus 10 degrees. We can stop at any time. We can stop means if you run the experiment for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, or you check the, you put the knob right at the T5 and you observe here, initially its temperature is this much. Now you may go for 10 degrees or 20, right, or minus value also. So in experiment, if you do the calculation part, it's not compulsory, you go for minus values. You do the experiment 10 minutes, right? Suppose in worst condition, if you decrease the temperature of the water up to minus 10 degrees. Now you note down the time before you put the inside the water. When you switch on, what is the time? Now at the end, if the temperature inside the freezer, if temperature is minus 10 degrees, what is the time taken? You note down that is the time, right? Next, you note down the time and you note down the temperatures, right? And here you have the power input. So the power input to the compressor, directly you got the work input to the compressor. And next one, we have the pressure indicator. These two are the pressure indicator, and these four are the temperature indicator. Now here you measure the maximum temperature, and here you measure the minimum temperature. So after, suppose if the temperature of the water inside the freezer, if it decreases to minus 10 degrees, what is the time is taken? You note down that. And when you note down that this here pressures, so you hold this. So when you hold this, now you measure what is the maximum pressure in the cycle and what is the minimum pressure in the cycle, and you know the temperatures. What are the temperatures? You know the temperatures. So the compressor inlet temperature, you know, right? That is T1, and the compressor outlet temperature, you know, T2, and condenser outlet temperature, you know, right? And the evaporator inlet temperature, you know, and the evaporator outlet temperature also. So you know all the temperatures and you know all the pressures, right? When the temperature of the water inside the freezer, if it decreases from 30 to minus 10 degrees, now you switch off the power supply. Now you note down and now you go for the calculation part. So calculation for vapor compression refrigeration. So from experiment, you note down the pressure, right? Inlet pressure of compressor, outlet pressure, and temperatures, compressor outlet and condenser inlet, right? Next one, throttling and evaporator inlet and outlet, and this is the water inside the freezer. And enthalpies, you find out this enthalpies, you refer from the pH chart. Now in pH chart, already explained. Now this curve represents the saturated liquid, and this curve, it represents the saturated vapor line. Now your assumption that so the refrigerant, it enters into the compressor is a dry saturated state. So initially you know the maximum pressure and the minimum pressure. Suppose minimum pressure is 1 bar and maximum pressure is 20 bar. Now from 1 bar you draw the horizontal line, and from 20 bar you draw the horizontal line. Now where this 1 bar pressure line, it intersects the saturated vapor curve, you represent point 1. Now the process 1-2 is isentropic process. Entropy will be remain same. Now we observe here there are the inclined lines, right? These are the inclined lines. This line represent constant entropy lines. Now we observe this is the specific entropy. This inclined lines represent the constant entropy line. You know minimum pressure, you mark point 1 and you put the scale here like this. Now you draw the line parallel to the constant entropy line. Where it intersects the maximum pressure, you got point 2. So you know point 1, you know point 2. Then you draw the horizontal line up to saturated liquid line. You got point 3. Now from point 3, you draw the perpendicular line. You draw the perpendicular line up to point 1, you got the H4. So from pH chart, from point 1, you draw the perpendicular line, you got the H1. Now from point 2, you draw the perpendicular line, you got H2. And similarly, from point 3, you draw the perpendicular line, you got the H3. Now 3 and 4, it is a throttling process, enthalpy remains same, so H3 equals to H4. Now from pH chart, you know all the enthalpies. Now, so what I explained, when you do the experiment, you know the mass of water. How you know the mass of water? You have measured the container, right, empty container, and mass with the container. The difference, it gives mass of water. And the time taken. Initially, what is the time? That is at 0 second. What is the temperature of water in the container? Suppose, already explained, if it is 30 degrees, right? And its temperature, you note down here, the initial temperature is 30 degrees. Now, you do the experiment up to minus 10 degrees. If the temperature is, suppose here it is 30 degrees initially temperature, and here the temperature is minus 30 degrees. Now, if the temperature is decreasing from 30 to minus 10, what is the time taken? Suppose if it is a 130 minutes, you note down the time taken for water. Its temperature is decreasing from 30 to minus 10. And work input to the compressor, directly it is displayed in the console board. So directly you know the work input to the compressor. Now from pH chart, you know the theoretical COP. Theoretical COP equals H1, that is the refrigeration effect. Refrigeration effect means where it occurs in condenser, H1 minus H4. But H4 equals to what? H3, because it is a throttling process. And work input to the compressor, you know the H2 and the H. You know all the enthalpies, you calculate the theoretical COP. Then actual COP. Actual COP equals heat extracted by work input to the compressor. Now here from this you know the work input to the compressor, but you calculate the heat extracted. So heat extracted, now you know the temperature, initial temperature of water, and you know the final temperature of the water. So suppose if the mass of water is 1 kg and you know the specific heat 4.187 and you know the temperature, right? Initial temperature is 30 degrees and 0 degrees. Now next one, so when its temperature decreases to 0 degrees, so it can't decreases further its temperature, it removes its latent heat, means it changes the phase from the liquid phase to the solid phase. Now here you are removing the latent heat, then it completely changed the phase from the liquid phase to the solid phase. Now you consider the specific heat of ice, and here 0 temperature, and what about the final temperature? Final temperature is -10. So here already minus is there, minus into minus plus 10. So you know all the values, you substitute, you calculate what? Heat extracted. So to decrease the water temperature from 30 degrees to -10 degrees, this much amount of the heat is extracted. So you know the work input to the compressor, so directly you got from the values. Now actual COP equals heat extracted by the work input to the compressor. So now you substitute here and you calculate the actual COP. So relative COP equals to what? Actual COP by the theoretical COP. So you write the results COP of the vapor compression refrigeration system. So generally the coefficient of performance will be always greater than 1. Okay.